Hey everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. So my name is Tyler Sims. I'm actually the Enterprise Account Manager with ChiroTouch, and I'll serve as your host for this evening. And this is going to be the first in a series of practice building trainings. So we're all excited that he has agreed to do this for us. This is Dr. CJ Mertz. So as most of you guys know, Dr. CJ is the past president of the International Chiropractors Association. He built his cash-based, subluxation-centered lifetime family wellness practice to over 1,200 visits per week. So this launched Dr. CJ's coaching program, which has now trained more than 16,000 teams in over 20 countries, speaking 12 different languages. So tonight we are thrilled to have him teach you the 10 keys to an explosive new patient day one, which has produced record-breaking results for hundreds of practices just in the past 2 years. So now on to your coach and your presenter for the evening, Dr. CJ Mertz.
Tyler, thank you so much. And a big thank you for all you docs who've carved out this time to be with us and join all of us tonight. I want you to know there are hundreds of chiropractors training with us, and I want you to feel the power of that right now. I want to put a big special thank you to clients that are training with us right now, to past clients, to those of you that have attended one of my Total Skills integration seminars, or have actually trained or studied on one of our practice building video series, or maybe you read my articles, my Coach's Corner articles. But just a big welcome to all of you. And by the way, right now in your chat box, there should be a link, and here's why. There may be your best chiro buddy in the world who may not be on this with us right now, and I just want you to go there and just pass it on. Will you just share that link right now with your best friend, your best chiro friend? Make sure they're on. You do not want them to miss out on what's happening here tonight. So thank you in advance, and just watch how big this event gets as a result of you participating right here, right now. It is true that there's records that have just been crushed in the last couple of years, and there's 10 keys that you're going to learn about tonight as a result of what it is that I'm going to share with you. I want you to know there's 3 groups of doctors that are on with us tonight. The first group I'm just going to call record breakers, and you are crushing it, right? And you're looking for that detail that's going to take your practice to that next level, and I promise you, you're going to find that tonight. The second group are those of you that I would say are comfortable in practice. There's not really a lot of stress, but you're in a comfort zone, and what you're looking for is that which is going to really stretch you to help you grow, and I promise you, you're going to find that. And then the third group are those of you that are experiencing problems, setbacks, challenges, and I feel that, and I understand, and I'm telling you, I promise you, you're going to find out how to build and grow yourself out of that challenge and know how to take that next step so you can get to your next level. I'm just going to start off by telling you there's only 2 things that ever happen in a chiropractor's practice. There's simply things you say, and there's things you do, and that's it. So it comes down to what you're saying and your team and how you say it. And there's what you do, and there's how you do it. And I don't want to oversimplify, but I want you to understand as we go through these 10 keys tonight, they fit inside of that. And what you're going to see is how we can actually take world-class patient communication systems wrapped with technology, wrapped around internal promotions, that when those collide, which they will for you tonight, it causes explosive growth in a chiropractor's practice. And I want to apologize in advance. This is a very focused training on day one, and you may have other questions and issues and challenges, or gosh, I'd really like to know what he thinks about this. And I want you to know that there's a practice evaluation where you and I can talk. There's no charge. Just we're going to be able to get into a Calendly, and you and I are going to connect, and we'll have time, and I'll be able to solve and answer any questions you have. So if you could just take a breath in and just say, I'm going to focus right here on these 10. And if you listen tonight with both your ears and your heart, I promise you that a breakthrough is waiting for you. So tonight, let's train together on these 10 keys for day one. Now, in the series, we're going to actually move to how we do the conversion and report of findings. We're going to even talk about how we attract new patients. So stay with me through August and September through the series Right now, we're on day one. Why is that so important? Because conversion starts right here. So the first key is what I'm going to call the first domino. And again, I want to thank you because there's a whole bunch of you that have already shared the link. We're already seeing more people coming onto this training. Thank you. This is absolutely incredible. We're talking about 10 keys that are going to revolutionize your day one. I've had the blessing of being able to see this happen over and over and again and again. Tonight, it might actually just seem too simple. As I go through this, you're going to go, wow, either I used to do something like this, or I've never heard this before, or gosh, I'm doing exactly this. But you're going to notice there's going to be at least one, if not multiple keys where you're going to look at this and go, that is how I dramatically improve what I say and or what I do, right? So that's how I'd like you to even take notes for those of you who are doing that. I call it the first domino for a reason. Those of you that love dominoes like I do, they got to be spaced right, right? And we got to make sure that the first domino is hit first. And so I know that sounds obvious, but you see on the screen right now some languaging. This is just part, not fully, this is just part of the language that your front desk CA should be saying when a new patient makes that first phone call. That's what this is. That's that first phone call. And notice what is right on your screen. Which one of our patients can I thank for referring you? Do you understand that many patients today are coming by way of social media? We should never limit our practices to social media. That is a wonderful tool, but it cannot be the only tool, right? So there's more to talk about that in a whole nother section, in this series. But tonight, I just want to understand, how do you create a very contagious, viral referral practice? Number one, you tell people you have one. Notice what's happening on the first phone call. We're in this thing for 20, 30 seconds. And Mrs. Smith, can I ask you, which one of our patients can I thank for referring you? And they say, well, I just saw your sign when I was driving by, and that's okay because what did they just learn? Oh, they have a referral-based practice. And then notice before we get off the phone, it's very clear. So is this appointment, Mrs. Jones, is this just for you, or is this for your entire family today? And 8 out of 10 of those patients on that call are going to say, oh no, this one's just for me. I just want to set up an appointment for me today. And what did you just teach them? Oh, they have a family-based practice. So you actually get to teach people who you are. People don't tell you who you are. People don't decide who you are. Come on, say yes if you get that tonight, because in all the docs that I get the blessing to train, these are some of the biggest mistakes. And I go through the next 30 minutes, you're going to actually hear me talking about big mistakes that chiros are making. Wonderful chiros, chiros with great hands, great hearts, great minds. And yet on that first phone call, they don't hear that you're a referral-based practice. They don't hear that you're a family-centered practice. Well, that means that you're not teaching people who you are. And for some of you, I may say it this way, you need to teach people who you want to be. Like right now, you might say, well, coach, I really don't have a referral-based practice. This is how you do that. So I'm either talking to you as you are a referral-based practice, and this is how you continue to be that, or you want to be, right? A referral-based and a family-based practice. This is how you do that. And you can't miss it. That front desk CA has got to be so well trained that through a lot of moving parts, and any of you would know, in a really healthy front desk situation, there's a lot of moving parts. And when that phone rings and somebody's checking in and somebody's checking out, there's a lot of moving parts. They never miss what it is I'm talking about there. And as we just continue on this very first key tonight, there's 10 of them. Notice it says, Mrs. Jones, I just emailed you the paperwork, which must be completed before your appointment. We're talking about the health resume, right? Or your entrance form. And of course, you'll see that in a few minutes. ChiroTouch can customize that for you, and we'll talk more about that. But do you understand that you can either email it or you can print it out? You can hand it to me when you come in. That's the language that this person on the phone is hearing. And most people today just email it back. But if they wanted to print it out and hand it, so here's the big idea. The big idea is that the practices that are most successful today, the growing, successful, happy practices. Who wants to be happy, right? Having fun, really enjoying practice. Let me tell you what's going on. And I'll say that several times through this first training. They have the paperwork back 8 out of 10 times before the person walks through your front door, or they're walking in with the paperwork. So make a note of that. Ask yourself, are we 8 or 9 out of 10, or are we not? If not, that's okay. We can fix that, right? I'm just telling you, in 2023, we're behind, right? So if we don't have 8 out of 10, you're behind, and we can catch up. And when you catch up, do not think that's a little thing. That is a very, very big thing. And so we no longer want to have patients sitting in your office filling out paperwork. That went out with the hula hoop. We're no longer that people. And so we are referral-based practice. We are a family-based practice. And our technology is so beautiful that for whatever age person, we can connect with them and we can get that right back. Now, here is a huge kicker. Notice I'm still on the first key so you can see how big and rich this is. Mrs. Jones, I have complete confidence that Dr. Mertz can help you. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 10 a.m. You cannot know how much medicine is in those words, and I say medicine in a good way, right? Is for them to hear from this person on the phone who they've not met, and it's clearly not the doctor in most cases, right? Mrs. Jones, I have complete what? Confidence that Dr. Mertz can help you. Do you know that that language there has proven, this whole system has been proven over and over again, thousands of practice throughout the United States and abroad. Do you know what that does to your show rate? There are doctors across the country that are seeing new patients not showing. That solves that. Number two, that right there is linked directly to your conversion rate. So I wonder how many of you tonight have your front desk CA saying that as they end the call. One word, one phrase that you're going to learn tonight is going to explode your practice. And that's what I notice over and over again. Remember, there's only things you can say and things you can do. And it's just what you say and it's how you say it with the love, the passion, the FCB, right? Your faith, confidence, and belief. What I'm giving you right now is just liquid gold. So now we have this first key leading into our second of 10, and that is the greeting. And here's what you see on your screen. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. My particular CA had a real issue with this, and I'll tell you, it took us 3 weeks to break through this. So if some of you are having a little bit more challenge, just stay there and just stay there. She was a little nervous. She was a little bit of an introvert, but here's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see patients walking up to your front desk and then having to say something like, hi, my name is Sandy Jones. I'm here as a new patient to see Dr. Mertz. Like, that's already failure number one, right? That's strike one. You don't want that. And in my surveying, I can't even begin to tell you how often that's still happening in chiropractors' offices all across the country. So what is it that you do then? What's the option? In this second key, it says, hi. Now notice what's happening here. The CA may have been on the phone. Listen, doc, they may have been on the phone. And now let's say that somebody has an appointment at 10 o'clock. And it's like 5 minutes to 10. And somebody's walking in that your CA has never seen before. What's the odds, high or low, that that's your new patient, right? So I say to my CA, Vivian, I want you to take a risk. That's most likely our new patient. You only get one chance, right? There's no second chance. She says to somebody on the phone, excuse me, I'll be right back, right? Puts them on hold, walks around the front desk, and that's the picture on your screen right now. You must be Mrs. Jones. And they're just mind blown. Hi, I'm Vivian. We've been expecting you. Welcome to Mertz Family Chiropractic. Stop. What do you think is happening inside the body of Sandy Jones, who's never, ever, ever been to any doctor's office where they actually came and introduced themselves and you already knew before I said anything? This is massive. Hi, you must be Mr. Frank Jones. I'm Amy. It's a pleasure to meet you. Welcome to Mertz Family Chiropractic and Wellness Center. May I get you some water or tea? See, this is where things start to shift in a big way. Perhaps we already have their paperwork, or maybe they're actually handing it to you as they come in. Remember the 8 to 9 out of 10? Remember, that's part of this, right? That greeting, you can't get that another time. That was that moment. I love my clients being able to actually have what I call the wow experience, where you literally kind of a bit of a jaw drop, like, OMG, like, am I in a doctor's office? That's unbelievable. And right now, literally in their spirit, that patient's thinking, oh my gosh, I'm absolutely in the right place. I'm with the right people. This is fantastic. Ask yourself, how are you doing there? And then look at this, Mrs. Jones, Dr. Mertz is ready to see you. I'm going to give you a brief tour of our healing center. Note that, take a note on that. What do your CAs call your practice? If it's not a healing center, then what is it, right? And so you want to come right off the bat with a big brand that says to this person who we've not even talked about their chronic fatigue. We haven't talked about any issue, pain, stiffness, numbness, or anything that's going on in that body. I just want you to know that we're going to give you a brief tour of our healing center first. So this is on the walk now back to the exam room. We're not just doing a quiet walk and putting them into a room and saying, okay, Dr. Mertz will be with you in just a moment. No. Notice what's happening here. It's literally the third key. It's called the tour. All right, take a little breath in. I know I'm talking fast, but I got a lot to teach you tonight. So they sent in their paperwork. We actually told them that we're a referral-based and a family-based practice. We came around and we welcomed them before they actually got to the front desk. We have their paperwork and we're now going to take them on a tour. This is our patient correction of the month. Stop. Do you have one of those? So as the patients walked in maybe 10 feet at most to your office, there should be this really cool, maybe it's a screen that you have up and it actually shows before and after x-rays. It might actually wind up being a picture that you've taken. It could be any one of a number of things, of a scan, of a pre and post x-ray, pre and post scans. But for sure, there's actually in double space typed beautifully is the story about this patient who obviously is giving you the blessing to share it, right? And this is a person who came in with migraine headaches that had them for 12 years. You know this patient all too well. Taken all kinds of different medications, nothing's really worked. And they came in and started seeing you 6 months ago. They're not on that medication anymore. They haven't had a migraine and they are so grateful, right? Their life has changed and we're sharing this on the way to the exam room. What do you think that's doing inside the body of this brand new patient? This is our patient correction of the month. It takes 30 seconds for a well-trained CA to tell that story. Now, this is our adjustatorium where miracles happen every day. It's part of the healing center. Now, when I say an adjustatorium, that's for those of you that have more of an open adjusting area and theater seating. If you have separate rooms, that's okay. We can still call that our adjustatorium, and this is where miracles happen every day in your adjustatorium. That's what we're doing in these offices, in these rooms, I should say, right? And this is our report of findings room, where patients learn for the first time the true cause of their health conditions. What am I doing here? What is your CA doing? Putting massive benefits, building value on every square inch of what's going on in this practice. You don't have to have a practice of more than 800 square feet. Some of you got 3,000, 4,000, but for those of you that got 800, 900, 1,000, 1,200, every square inch, every square foot, there is something magnificent going on. There's some of you that want to talk about your kids club, because there's an area where kids can actually hang and play. And so there's a lot more you can put into this particular tour. I'm just asking you, do you have a tour? What does it sound like? And is it actually giving somebody huge inspiration and hope in the 2 minutes that it takes to do 3 minutes max a tour? And Mrs. Jones, this is our discovery room, right? That's where we were headed, was the exam room. This is where it all starts. Dr. Mertz will be with you shortly to begin your spine and nerve system consult and exam. And listen to these words. Mr. Jones, you are in very good hands. And as the CA is walking out, literally, I'm walking in, and we train on that. We practice that, because the worst thing you could ever do is leave a patient in a room by themselves, a new patient. I don't care what doctor's office they're in, they're freaked out. And so we don't want to be that chiropractor. We don't want to be that team. Come on, say yes to that, right? We're not leaving them alone because they freak out and they get nervous. It's now strike one, strike two. You're not helping yourself in conversion at all. But when she says you're in very good hands, and Dr. Mertz will be right in, and she's walking out and you're walking in, and you actually now are shaking their hand, T-minus 10 seconds or less in that baton pass, this is where great things are happening. Well, that brings us to the fourth key out of 10. So we're moving quickly through this thing. But I want you to know that the sooner, friends, the sooner they know what you're looking for, the higher their value and curiosity is for what you do here on day one. And so this is another mistake. This is a mistake that I see chiropractors making on a regular basis. That's why this system is such a breakthrough. So here we are now with the doctor. Now, this could be your associate. This could be your tech CA. Many of my clients, the doctor is not even in day one anymore. This has all been trained out for a tech CA or an associate. So you use this based on what's best for you. For most of you today, or many of you, it would be you being able to say this as the chiropractor. Mr. Jones, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Dr. Mertz. I see Pete referred you into our practice. He's such a great patient who has experienced great results. So notice one of the first things that you're saying is thank you, is welcome, and thank you to somebody, right, that has referred. I'm going to give him, Pete, right, a big thank you. And when you get a chance, I hope you do the same. Notice I haven't started talking about symptoms. You notice that right now, as I'm not talking about symptoms. Well, what if they weren't necessarily referred by a person? Notice what I put up there, again, as sort of the options, because you got to have that all ready to flow as a new patient comes into your practice. Mr. Jones, it was a pleasure to meet you at our recent presentation, which could have been a screening or a talk that you did. Again, I'm Dr. CJ Mertz. I'm grateful that you discovered our practice through social media, because maybe that's how they learned about it. There was a talk that you did or something, and they learned through your practice of social media. Maybe it was direct social media that didn't even hear a talk. They literally booked directly onto your schedule book from social media. Well, now I'm introducing myself, and I'm grateful you discovered our practice through social media. Listen to this. The majority of our patients here in this practice have been referred by other satisfied patients, which is my number one goal for you. Stop. What kind of practice did you just tell them you have? And what was the kind of practice the CA said you had on the first call? And suddenly there's such a rhythm of authenticity and clarity and confidence that this is, wow. Because let me just tell you, when people come into your office through social media, where do you think they think most of your patients are coming from? Have you ever asked yourself that question? And if they think that your practice is largely made up of people are just coming in off of Groupon, people are just coming in off social media, that is one viewpoint you don't want to have. You don't want to be that doctor with that kind of practice. Although we welcome everyone, right, that comes in from Groupon or from social media, we just want them to know that the majority of our patients here in this practice have been referred by other satisfied patients, which is our number one goal for you. Again, I'm asking you, how are you doing? Maybe some of this you're thinking, oh my gosh, I've never heard that. I've never thought about that before. This is tested and proven in hundreds and hundreds of practices. This has busted over 500 records just in the last 2 years of people just, and by the way, these doctors would tell you, I haven't even put the whole thing in yet. I just started to put pieces of it in, and my practice is taking off. I hope that's the feeling you're having right now. We continue here with this fourth key. I noticed I was reading through your entrance form. Again, this now is looking at the paperwork that they probably emailed you back before they even walked through the door. So I'm looking through the entrance forms, and I saw that you are battling with chronic fatigue. Notice that's a power word, right? Battling. You don't want to just simply mention the body signals. You want to mention them in such a way that the patient feels he or she, the chiro, you, he gets me, she gets me. Like, it wasn't that I have headaches, you're battling with headaches. You are struggling with headaches. Ask yourself, how do you wrap power words around that? Battling is one of the key words you will ever use in your practice, battling with chronic fatigue, and that you've struggled with constant pain and stiffness in your neck and upper back. Notice I said what was already the chief complaints, so they already know that you know, right? So they already know you know. So very on purpose chiropractors that are with me tonight, I want you to know I'm not somebody who chases symptoms, and if you know anything about me, that's not how it works. But at the beginning, when they hear that come out of your mouth and they get, oh, he or she, they get me, watch what happens next. In a few minutes, this is on your screen, I'm going to be giving you specific questions, asking you specific questions about these body signals, the ones I just mentioned, right? But first, I want you to know my purpose and what I'll be looking for today. I literally just put their body signals on a shelf. I mentioned them literally so I could put them on a shelf. All right, so we're going to get to this, and this is awesome. I want you to know that right now, this should have come up, this should be right there in your consultation. You notice I have a spine in my hand, and it says, my purpose, Mr. Jones, is to lead as many people as possible to experiencing optimal health through natural chiropractic care. But there's a condition known as vertebral subluxation, and I'm literally twisting and or turning the spine. So there's a visual representation of what the word was that I just said, and they are feeling that anyhow. There is a condition known as vertebral subluxation, which interrupts the nerve system, which I want to hold a nerve, whether it be in the neck or the low back, which interrupts the nerve system, which can prevent you from healing and repairing properly. I want you to know props are massive, and we are in a highly visual society. If you do not have a spine in their hand right now or in their sight, we're making another big mistake. And so I want to tie into technology here for just a moment, why you would actually choose ChiroTouch. To me, there's three groups of you that are on this line right now. There's those of you, for example, that are installed with ChiroTouch. And so I want you to know that with that, there is a link coming right into your chat box that can show you how you can upgrade to the ChiroTouch iCloud, which is absolutely the mamma jamma. Then there's those of you that are ChiroTouch Cloud, and I just want to acknowledge you. That's some of the best technology on earth right now, and you got it. I want you to know that ChiroTouch has got something special in the chat box for you, a really cool ebook that shows 6 ways to improve your profitability. It's just a way of saying thank you, right? So you'll see that, and that'll be a blessing. There may be actually then another group, which is those of you that maybe have other software, you don't have ChiroTouch, and there's another link right there. And that my suggestion is you ought to take it for a test drive. You ought to just do a demo and see how does that compare with what you're doing. Something for you to consider. I will tell you one of the cool things about ChiroTouch is the efficiency and speed of what goes on. It's outrageous. And you can send, you remember I was talking about the entrance forms? You can send that directly out of the software right to the patient. They can send it right back, goes right into their file, right into their notes. I'm telling you this for a reason. It's efficiency and productivity. It's the power than building your practice through that technology. So it's an all-in-one solution, no required hardware and maintenance. And you can customize this, right, to your practice. And so I really want you to see what's in the chat box for you and to consider taking a look at that. So now we're talking about patient communications. I've literally been giving you some beautiful scripting that's being used by hundreds and hundreds of chiropractors all over the world, right? Changed into even different languages so it says exactly what I'm telling you. Now we have technology, and we're also talking about internal promotion, aren't we? We are creating a referral-based practice because we said we are. We're creating a family-based practice because we said we are. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't accept personal injury. That doesn't mean a person can't come in that's Medicare, right? So I don't want you to think that you can't have every new patient come into your practice, but there's got to be an avatar, right? There's got to be a mission statement. There's got to be, this is my favorite patient. Like, this is my ideal situation. And for many of you, it's exactly, most of you, what I'm talking about. That takes us to the 5th key. And in this 5th key, I'm talking about 5 traumas in 5 minutes. This in my practice was mind-blowing. I remember being absolutely stuck at 100 patient visits a week, with the energy of a lion to go and save the world like all of you, but I was stuck. I'm just being honest. I was absolutely stuck. And then when I realized this, and I started to implement this with tremendous consistency, like literally 3rd degree black belt at this, the game changer was hard to put into words. And now having so many friends and chiropractors that have and are doing this, and they're saying the same things, it's just proven. It's already no longer hypothetical or theoretical. And so it goes like this. Never ask, have you ever questions. If you have paperwork that says, have you ever been in a car accident? Have you ever, you're asking yes or no questions. I'm asking you tonight, not only to not have that in writing, don't ever let it come out of your mouth again. yes or no questions. Because what happens when people are hurt, when people haven't slept, when they're stiff, they were driving and it was uncomfortable to even get to your office, I'll tell you, no comes out like 10 times more often than yes. It's like the file, it was closed in their brain. And even though there is a yes, they're not seeing it. And so it's just, no, I don't remember that. I don't think so. And all of a sudden you just got no's. Instead, when was. Notice on your screen, when was. And so the statement then goes from this wonderful introduction, this pre-consultation in step 4, that 4th key, to the vast majority of my patients, Mr. Jones, have experienced literally dozens, make a note on that, literally dozens of impacts, which can cause vertebral subluxation. Notice that now they already know what it is that I'm talking about, at least a reference, right? That not only is the spine out of alignment, it's actually affecting the nerve system. Do you notice all this is happening in seconds? We don't need to do a workshop here. You don't want to veer off what I'm saying right now. It's just this. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Less is more. So it's right here. And so the vast majority of our patients have experienced literally dozens of traumas that could lead to vertebral subluxation. I want to discover, and I put my hand up as another visual, I want to discover 5 of yours right now. Notice on the screen, there's categories. There's auto, work, sports, hobby, home. Say that with me. Auto, work, sports, hobby, home. And so when you get that down and it's auto, work, sports, hobby, home, you realize these 5 categories, all I need is 5 traumas, and I could get 5 auto accidents. There are people, as you know, that have had more than 5 auto. I don't have to keep going to work, sports, hobby, home. I've already got 5 traumas. So by the time I get to auto, work, and sports, if I've got 5 traumas, I'm done talking. I've got 5 traumas. I also want you to understand the power, chiropractor, the power of having even one trauma or impact, one story that patient goes back 10 plus years on. Look at this. When you have 5 traumas found and one is 10 plus years or older in your consult, in your 5 traumas, notice that's called the history of trauma. The average conversion right now at the report of findings the next day, the next visit, is 70+%. That's how big this moment is. So I'm asking you the question, how often do you get 5 or more traumas with one patient? And how often is there at least one that's 10 plus years old? And so when you do this and you learn and you train yourself, I'm telling you, you can do all this, right? So if I'm saying things that are like, wow, I just have never done it, don't worry. We can get this all done. We can get this all taken care of. I just want you to know the chiropractors who are either doing this or their tech CA or their associate, crushing it, record-breaking crushing is going on. Because you understand that if I just talked about vertebral subluxation with the spine, and I talked about there's literally dozens of impacts that cause it, and then I just heard that they have 2 auto accidents, one that was 2 years ago, one that was 10 years ago. They fell off a horse, they fell out of a tree. Do you understand? What do you think they have right now? See, this is all called pre-frame. I want that patient to be so clear as I'm going through the notice I haven't even touched them yet. Notice the exam hasn't even happened, and what do they think they have? This is the brilliance of how this is done this way. And so now the history of trauma goes to the OPQRST. And again, BJ talked about this and wrote about this in his green books. He actually said, be mindful, be even a little bit worried about this, because this is that place where we say, so how long have you had it? And how often does it come up? And is it sharp or is it dull? And all of a sudden, before you know it, we're talking about pain. And so we actually got to a cause-based consult, and now we're right back to an effects-based consult. Listen to my care. This is so big. Number 6, they're all so big. But number 6, your question, doctor, your question is more valuable than their answer. Maybe you've never heard it that way. Think about that. And so now what I'm saying to you is, of course we want to know, how long have they had the migraine headaches, right? And how many days a week does it happen? And what does it look like? And we want all those, so we get them into our note, right? And it's into our macro, and there we have it. But listen to this. You never ask how long or how often, or is it sharp, throbbing, worse in the morning. That is not what we do. Instead, I bring my trusty spine back up and I say, if you have subluxation, and they're reminded again, that's right, I know what this is. If you have subluxation, watch this, it can put pressure on nerves for a long period of time. How long have you had your migraines, for example? And they say, oh, I've had migraines for the last 5 years. Okay, so we now have the content, the info that we need, right? Because the migraines have been going on for 5 years. But what did they just tell themselves? Oh my gosh, I probably have what? Look at the next one. If you have vertebral subluxation, it can irritate different nerve fibers. Do you notice that your migraines, are they sharp? Are they dull? Are they throbbing? Oh, mine are definitely throbbing. Okay, well, you got the information you needed, but what did they just learn from your question? Oh, this is definitely what the doctor's talking about. This is what's causing it because of the way you've reframed your communication mastery. Do you get that? When vertebral subluxation exists, it can weaken the entire spine. Do you notice your migraines and your headaches? Are they worse more in the morning, or are they worse later in the afternoon? Oh, mine are definitely worse towards the end of the day. At the end of this, you realize I get all the information I've ever gotten before, but I now have a patient that is dramatically different. And when I say dramatically, I can't understate that. This is a different human being than you've had before because you empowered them with the question. The answer we were definitely going to get, but we just don't want to get it with, oh, well, how long have you had it and how long? We're not doing that anymore. We don't do that. And when you switch this one, number 6, it is game over. Oh my gosh, we're on the home stretch. How are you doing tonight? And I just want to tell you how much I love and appreciate you. Just as a fellow brother or sister that's training with us tonight, hundreds of chiropractors taking all kinds of notes right now. And all I'm asking you to do is look at, how is this different than how you're doing? You know what I also noticed, which is really great, is that these teams can actually do new patients in 30 minutes or less, including the x-ray, and they have higher conversion rates to better care plans than in their entire career. And you'll see that as we get on into our August training, August 15th. We'll continue with that. But number 7 right now out of 10, posture is the window to your spine and nerve system. Notice that we've kind of now moved from where we've gone from the first phone call to how we're greeting that patient to being referral-based and family-based to this amazing tour, so benefit-rich, to the way in which we actually then pose the body signals right off the bat using power words. We thank that referral source. And now we're actually into 5 traumas in 5 minutes. We know how to completely reframe OPQRST. Posture, I want you to understand, in bilateral weight scales, these are 2 of the most powerful tests being performed in chiropractors' offices today. So if you don't have a mirror just in the back of the door in your exam room, can you just go get one? I mean, you can go get it. It's maybe $35, right? You can even get them that they're beveled, so it's got a vertical line on it, maybe one horizontal line towards the shoulders and one towards the hip, and you can just put it right there on the door. So it's no longer a cosmetic mirror. It's now a postural instrument, right? So you have maybe a piece of tape on the floor, something very simple, and they stand there with feet shoulder width apart. They close their eyes, they nod up their head up and down, and you make sure they have their eyes closed. So when you tell them, don't move a body part, just simply open your eyes, and they look and they open. You're standing right behind them. As you can see, your head is tilted to the left, your left shoulder is high, your body's rotated. It is, not sort of, not a little. We never use small words. And they see it for the first time. Do you know these people brush their teeth, they brush their hair every day? They're in the mirror all day long. And so many of them, they have no idea that there's 8, 9, 10 different postural imbalances in their body. And we do a full body evaluation, right? And regardless of what the body signal is, it might be low back, it might be neck, it might not even be spine related, full postural evaluation. Notice there's also amazing bilateral weight scales today that when somebody stands, and again, we ask them to close their eyes, 4 or 5 seconds later, they lock. So even if the patient sways a little bit, the numbers are still stay the same. So if somebody's supposed to be within 1 pound on either, so if I'm 150 pounds, I should weigh 75. Do you know how often the average patient is 8 to 12 pounds heavy on one side? But if they're not on scales, they wouldn't see it. But when they look down and they see it, there's that OMG moment, right? Just like in the mirror, there's that OMG moment, like, and what's happening right there? They already heard about subluxation. They thought they might have had that from your consult. Now they're looking into the posture mirror and they're looking at the scales. You're not telling them they have subluxation. We wait till the report to let them know about nerve interference and so forth. They're telling themselves. They're like, oh my gosh, this is this is crazy. How did I not know this, right? And they're almost a little upset, like, why didn't I know this, right? Why is it that only now I'm in your practice? They're not upset with you. They're upset with the whole medical profession and where they've gone before and who they've seen, and nobody's helped them. And they're having breakthrough after breakthrough, and it's happening relatively quickly. I want you to get that. 30 minutes later, it's the greatest experience they've ever had in any doctor's office because of every piece in the order that I have shared this with you. So I want you to see, I'm just encouraging you today that you don't have to fix everything at once. You start putting these 10 keys, you're going to start noticing better results instantly. I'm telling you that right now. So palpation, posture, range of motion, Mr. Jones, this is another big part of it. When patients come into your office, they often feel, doc, that no one else has had what they have, because my pain kind of starts here, but then it kind of goes around here. I don't know that anybody's ever had that. I just know what it feels like to me. And I might feel like I'm the only one who's ever had that. Even if it seems like something simple, like neck spasm, a headache, whatever it may be, very, very unique because they're the only one that has that. And right on a palpation, a key palpation, or a posture check, just like I did a moment ago, or the bilateral weight scale, maybe a scan moment. We're not doing a report of findings, not a report of findings at all. Listen carefully when I say this, Mr. Jones, I see this one finding often in my practice, and I'm confident I can help you. You just took one moment and said, you know what? I see this often. So it literally breaks that mental chain of, I'm so unique. You know, maybe the doctor's never seen any. I wonder if they've ever seen it. I've seen this one finding, right? Which is palpation. It's a posture check. It's a bilateral weight scale. I've seen this one finding in my practice often, and I'm confident I can help you. Number 7 is massive. And that leads us to the power of X-ray. And so we look at this, whether you're taking X-ray or not, understand that if you had a phase of degeneration chart on the X-ray or exam room wall, you could say, Mr. Jones, this X-ray will tell me, this is assuming those of you that have X-ray, which is probably 70% of you, will tell me how many subluxations. Notice that they already know what it is that I'm talking about. We started from the beginning, right? As Stephen Covey teaches us, to begin with the end in mind. They were so clear about the spine being out of alignment, and that there's something that happens that interrupts the nerve system, and that you cannot heal properly. You just cannot repair properly. That's been an overwhelming theme right from the beginning, no matter what their signals, their body signals are. Mr. Jones, this X-ray, which we're taking a lateral cervical, for example, this one will tell us how many subluxations may exist in your spine and how long they have been there. Notice that back to the history of trauma. Well, they fell off that horse 8 years ago, and that car accident was 12 years ago. And so we'll actually see how many exist and how long they have been there. Priceless. I can't even put a word to you on what's happening with that patient and how much value they have for the scan and the X-ray that's happening in that moment. This patient's actually then coming to the checkout. We finished strong. And in the Accelerate Coaching Program, I want you to know that this wasn't easy. I can tell you right now that probably 8 or 9 out of 10 of all my new clients, they're just so hungry to figure out what to do in the right order. And so we start right from the beginning. And it might take 3-4 weeks to get step 1, key 2, and key 3. And that's all we do. And look at the results that are happening. So I don't want you to think for a second that you got to be perfect. You know, I've got to get all 10 in before I actually start doing them. I'm going to encourage you tonight. I want you to start doing them right now. I want you to just put one in with total FCB. You may want to actually get with your CA tomorrow, right? And say, hey, wow, I was with this great training with Dr. CJ Mertz, #1 performance coach in the world. And this is what he teaches his CAs. And this is what he teaches his doctors. It's outrageous. Let's play with it. Let's have fun. Let's role play it. Okay, let's put it in. That's what I'm encouraging. So here we go to key number 9. Do you have a welcome packet? So when they get back to the front desk, do you have a welcome packet? Do you know you could go to Office Depot, you could go someplace very inexpensive and just sort of get the peachy folder, you know, that's got the folders in it. And so what you have on the left side when they open it up is just a really cool visionary statement. It's a welcome letter, right? From you. It's just all feel good, right? And it's all about welcoming that patient and how grateful you are that they chose your practice, and then what your mission is all about and what you want to see happen for the men, women, and children and families in your community and so forth, right? Just one feel good page on that left-hand side. On the right-hand side, what your CA should have been doing while that patient was going through their day one, she picked out 3 testimonials. Now, for those of you that I'll just say are at sort of an intermediate place, just take your 3 best testimonials. That's all you got to do. Just take your 3 best ones, put them out there so that night they're going to read these stories. They're going to read these stories. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to just cement everything they've already learned. And it's going to prove again, it's almost like proof of concept. Look at what's happening. Look at the healing. Look at the success. Look at the results that are happening in this practice. I'm asking you right now, out of every 10 new patients that you have, how many of them are reading testimonials before they come in to the reported findings? You should answer that question as honestly as you can. And when your answer comes back and you say, hey, coach, I've been working hard on that, because there's many of you on this line would go, oh, no, I'm 8 out of 10 of my patients are reading at least 2 or 3 testimonials before they come back for the report. Conversions are just record breaking. You have to understand the power. There's only things you say and there's only things you do. When we can significantly change how you do that, I'm telling you, your practice can grow faster than you ever imagined. So there's this welcome packet that your front desk CA, obviously they're going to schedule this person for a report of findings. That patient's going to pay what you've asked them to pay for day one. Those things are happening in the checkout. The big thing I want you to walk away with though tonight, that welcome packet, it's the welcome letter. It's got your best testimonials. Now, for those of you that are a little more advanced, and I'm talking to my clients tonight, and then those of you that are at that level, you should have a drawer at the front desk, and it's literally A through Z, and you have so many testimonials. I'm talking to you. If you've got 50 or more testimonials, I'm talking to you. And those of you that have 70 and 100 testimonials, I'm talking to you. Put them in alphabetical order, right? So A is for allergies, right? And we just go right on through. All M is migraines. And so what happens is now as that patient's going through the 30-minute day one, your CA has picked out 3 testimonials, watch this, that are just like that patient that went back who has migraine headaches. They're going to see 3 testimonials of people that have had migraines, and now that's what's in this welcome packet. That's 10x. I mean, a welcome packet that just has your 3 best testimonials is awesome. 3 custom testimonials is 10x that. So you want to work hard at getting testimonials, and hopefully I've been inspired that tonight. It's like, wow, we should just be getting a lot more written testimonials. There's a posture card. We have in our Accelerate program the family posture card that gets put in there so they can go home and actually check the shoulder and head heights of their children and their spouse. That comes back to you on the report of findings. An amazing tool to have. It's a referral-based, family-based tool, because that's who you said you want to be or who you are, right? And then there's our Optimal Spine Equals Optimal Health brochure. It's a fantastic brochure that represents who you are and what you do and your brand and your purpose and your product. It's awesome. And it's all subluxation based and nerve power based. And it's something they can bring home that, again, just has your brand all over it. So notice what's happening here. The patient now leaves your office. Just stay with me for just a minute, okay? They're now in their car. And as they're driving away, what do you think they're thinking about? That should be something that's on your mind before you even shake their hand, is what's happening to their head and heart as they're in their car driving away. And it's really quick. People get back to emails and they're getting back to social media. So the day just continues to go on. But for that moment, for that minute as they get into their car, man, I just know I'm in the right place. I just truly believe they can help me. The curiosity about what you found coming back to the report, it's at an all-time high. There is everybody showing up to the report of findings. You do not have a missed visit anywhere in your report of findings. I'm telling you that. And the value for what you're going to recommend has just gone up 10x. And they are convinced that they have what you thought they might have had. All right, so as we get to then the 10th, this is big, as we come around the corner and come home, after scheduling the report of findings and charging for services rendered, right? We've already got the welcome packet out. Mr. Jones, I'm glad you were able to come and get carefully evaluated today. I'm confident Dr. Mertz can help you stop How many times have they heard that? We look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 10 a.m. And so here we have the checkout process, and there's one more statement of hope, just like they heard on that first phone call before they came in, just like the doctor said when you did your palpation, for example, and you said, you know, I see this one finding often, and I want you to know I'm confident that I can help you. Where is that energy? Where is that consistency in your practice? And so as we put these 10 keys together, do you understand how much this sets up the next day? Right? So look at this and say, okay, what if you just did 3 out of these 10 keys? Well, you're much better off than having not done any of them, right? But what happens when you get to doing 5 keys out of 10 and then 6 or 7 keys out of 10? I'm telling you, you're revolutionizing your practice. You are absolutely changing what's going to happen next, and your practice is absolutely growing. Some of you might remember this scene from Jerry Maguire, right? And Tom Cruise walks into the living room and he just wants his wife back, and he's talking about the mistakes that he's made and how much she means to him. And at some point she just stands up and goes, shut up, right? You had me at hello. I want you to feel that feeling right now. That's what happened from the first phone call. And that's what happened to that first introduction where your CA went around the corner and would you like some tea or water? And then there's that tour, and there's every piece of what I just showed you was, oh my gosh, wow, oh my gosh. And by the end of it, and they're in their car and they're driving away, they know they're in the right place. And so if tonight, for example, you know, you have the installed version, you're looking, wow, I just need to go cloud, right? No more servers, let's get cloud-based, let's go ChiroTouch Cloud. Take a look at that, right? And if you have a different type of software, do a demo, check them out, right? It's just solutions.chirotouch.com/2022 book demo. You see it right there on your screen. Just take a screenshot. And then, of course, I want you to know, and I want to apologize in advance because I want to get to all of you. It will probably be limited to the first 30 or 35 of you that respond, but to schedule a complimentary practice evaluation with me, and that would be a joy and an honor to just get knee to knee with you. We can do it FaceTime, we can do Zoom, like we can do whatever we want, but just get on the calendar. That'll be coming to you later tonight. Look for that, and we'll book a convenient time for us to discuss the problems that you have, the solutions for your practice. And I also promised on behalf of ChiroTouch, there is a killer video. I want you to know only my clients have ever seen it. It's a $500 value training. It's coming your way. And so you should probably have that in your hands in the next hour or so as a way of just saying thank you for being part of this amazing series of training. This is also going to take you a little bit ahead of how we market for new patients. Today wasn't about marketing. This was just simply sort of how do we actually take care of a new patient, and then how do we build referrals out of it. This training that's coming up, that'll be a video, it'll bless you, and maybe it's something you can watch with your team. And I want you to understand it's very simple. You can follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, and I want you to understand that you can also schedule a practice evaluation with me. So I hope you've enjoyed this first training in the series. I'm hoping that you also see how ChiroTouch can actually be a new opportunity for you. And I am a massive problem solver, and I hate to lose. So I'm telling you right now, if you've got a big problem or problems and you're wondering whether or not you can be helped, I promise you, there are people much worse off that when I met them, and they are soaring right now. Your future looks incredibly bright. These 10 keys brighten it up massively. Don't try to do all 10. Pick maybe 1, 2, or 3. And do the first one tomorrow, right? Don't wait until like this week is gone. Do something this week. Promise yourself, put something in right now, and then watch what happens. If you need a response even quicker, like there's something really bad, and I need to talk to Dr. CJ like right now, cj@cjmerch.com, right? Just let me know what your name is and that you were on this training, and I will get back to you, I promise you, right away. I don't want any of you delaying what it is that you need. I want to thank you again. I love and appreciate you. Until next time, and as always, practice with passion. Have an amazing day, and God bless you.